And BK is back! As promised, I will show you my base on the Outcraft server, or I should say bases, because I've got two here. In today's video we will visit my starter base. I would have skipped showing you this one completely, but there is one joke in my main base that you might not get if you hadn't seen this place first. First, a short introduction to the Outcraft server. Outcraft is an LGBTQ+ friendly international Minecraft server that was created by Terrastormer. Besides Terrastormer there are two more admins, Cyber Circuit Head and myself. The server is whitelisted, but once there are spots available for new players, applicants can get vetted. By the way, this might be the case when we restart the world for the 1.18 update. We started this current world on May the 2nd, 2020. Back then we were still in 1.15.2, but we knew 1.16 would drop just a couple of weeks later. To not load in too much of the world before the update, we started with a world border and the whole nether was reset after the update. The world is amplified, but the seed was not chosen completely at random. I had written a program that was able to select seeds that complied to some of our demands, like how much water and what biomes would be around spawn, and what would become available after we expanded the world border. A funny fact about this is that before I sent a list of possible seeds to Terrastormer, I did a test run of the program until it generated a single seed. It was that test seed which ended up being considered most suitable. Myself, I knew exactly what I wanted to do for my main base, but I wouldn't be able to start any of it until we were on 1.16, so first I needed a starter base. Unfortunately, I hadn't made any plans for that. So initially I took up camp on a small island southeast of spawn where I stayed for 3 days. I moved when I found inspiration in the old Myst games, and more specific in the Stoneship age from the original game. I boated around within the borders of our world on the search for an ideal location, which I didn't find, so I settled with an island north of spawn just on the world border. If you're not familiar with the Stoneship age from Myst, firstly, shame on you. But here are some screenshots. And this is my version. I didn't want to copy everything exactly as it is in the original game, which wouldn't have been possible anyway in Minecraft, but I wanted to stay close while making it functional as an actual base. The story behind Stoneship is that the main character of the Myst games, Atreus, wrote this world into existence but made some mistakes while doing so, causing, for example, a ship to generate split in a rock. The first thing I did was stripping the existing rock from all its dirt and sand, adding a top layer of half slabs everywhere to make everything spawn free. Where needed I made some structural changes. Around the back I made a spiral staircase to the top of the mountain. This rock is a lot higher than in the original game, but I wanted to get a mathematically correct spiral without having it make more turns. This took a lot of calculating and planning. Luckily, those are two things that I like doing when I work on a base. For the telescope on top of the rock, I used a bat hat. I used a model of the sunken ships in Minecraft for my version for the ship, splitting it into two and making it slightly larger. Also, you may notice that I have corrected the generation errors with slabs that even still today happen in all of the sunken ships. In the cargo hold of the front bit of the ship, I stored my enchanting table and other practical things. The cabin in the back of the ship was used for even more storage for items. Pay no attention to all these cats, but I'll let you in on a secret that even today nobody on the Outcraft server knows. This room has a secret fishing farm in it. By changing just a few blocks it became usable, but as you may know, that kind of fishing farms broke with the 1.16 update, or at least if you wanted treasure. On top I keep a barrel with some gifts I received from one of the other players after I died, most unfortunately in the end because of a glitchy keyboard. Long story.
This BK, this company that you're buying stuff of, are they like a legitimate company?
They are.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know what to do now.
Well, they seem to be selling you stuff that's dodgy.
It seems sacrilege to use gifts, so I keep them as a souvenir. The cargo hold here once again has more storage, including a storage room which I made shortly before the 1.16 update, but which I never really used in the end. And my bedroom is behind this door. If you have played Myst, you would know that this back end of the ship gave access to the linking book, which would allow you to go back to the main age. Well, the same thing happens here. Below this hatch is a staircase, but before you can go down, you have to open the door. The switch on this side was hidden in my bedroom. Just tap the note block behind the armor stand once and the door opens. In the original game, the staircase makes a 180-degree turn, taking you to the room holding the linking book, with a window facing towards the rock, showing that you are under the water. For several practical reasons, I have that linking book room facing the other way, and obviously my linking book room is a nether portal. On the nether side, I copied the pattern of the room in the overworld, with on one side a staircase down through the bedrock to a regular nether. This took a lot of careful planning and precision work while breaking the bedrock, without breaking any block too many. And all in survival, of course. On the other side there is an exit giving access to the nether roof. By the way, that over there, that's the spawn portal, with the beautiful creation made by Terrastormer. On the outside, the room around my nether portal is nothing more than a box. I would have made a ship on this side as well, but I failed to make a smaller version, and copying the room from the overworld seemed a better idea after all. You can get in and out crouching through these trapdoors. And to open and close the secret door from this side, just click that note block. Let's go to the crow's nest. In Myst, this is where you find 3 switches to the water pumps. In my version, only one turns on water pumps. The other 2 have different functions. They are not marked, so visitors had to figure out which one does what. Spoiler alert. The middle one gives a signal to pumps in the staircases going down below the rock. They lead to the 2 bedrooms of Cirrus and Ekenar, the sons of Atreus. The original Myst game requires you to figure out which one of both sons you should trust, as they respectively ask you to collect red or blue pages to help them out. I've used this information. Let's go down and see. Originally the staircases spiral down, but I had to adjust this a bit to the Minecraft situation. This is the red room. This is where I install the villager healing station. It gets an input of fresh villagers from a villager breeder from the left and healed villagers exit to the right to the individual holding chambers. To make it slightly easier to navigate around here, I connected the red room to the blue one, but in Myst this isn't the case. The blue room was always meant to be the one that holds the villagers, but when eventually I would need more of them, I added a new section in the red room, as you may have noticed. The holding cells look a bit messy, I know. This is because some things changed when the game updated to 1.16, and honestly this was just a little test I did with carpets on string. The discrete door there is just for maintenance purposes. Behind it you first have the drop chute for the babies that come from the villager breeder, and behind that are corridors with access to redstone and rooms above the villager cells. Nextly there is the Lighthouse. According to the original story, this was not written in existence but was actually built in this world. After some time it became clear that some writing errors made by Atreus made parts of the world unstable, and the bit of land on which the lighthouse was built started sinking in the ocean. I actually reenacted this. The week before I had planned to reveal my starter base to the other players on the server, every day I made remarks about some signs of growing instability of the floor below my tower, jokingly referring to it as my sandy crack. The day that the reveal was to happen, I waited until there were a lot of players online, and then I started shouting in the chat that my tower was sinking, asking if this was a new feature of the game. This confused so many of them, which caused them to become very interested to come by and have a look. And that is how you do a base reveal. Unfortunately, I couldn't record any of it, since in those days I still had major issues with getting a new computer, which would have allowed me doing so. On the exact location where, according to my plans, the lighthouse had to come, the ocean was too deep, so I had to create a flooded hill for myself. From a testing world, I copied a random hill that had about the same dimensions of what I would need. I built it block for block, top down, under the water. And under the lighthouse, because I built that one first. The top floor of the lighthouse would have held a power generator, which made the lights in the areas below the rock function, but because of practical reasons I skipped that. Just like in Myst, the inside of the lighthouse should have been flooded, but I couldn't think of any compact way of making this actually work in Minecraft, so I had to skip that one as well, or at least partly. I changed it for something else. Let's go down to have a look. To have some access to or from the ocean, I put a door down here. This kinda makes sense, even though this was a slight oversight in the original Myst game. And this would be the floating chest from the original game. When you look inside, you can choose one of two pages, a red one and a blue one. Obviously, this is a reference to the pages Ekanar and Cirrus are asking you for. And down here is a small drain, which can be seen in the original game, and I theorized that this would be where the water disappears to when you turned on one of those pumps in the crow's nest. Well, one of the levers in my crow's nest does something here as well. Let me show you. Flipping the leftmost lever opens up the drain down to a secret passage. Down here was my mine. I dug everything away, lighting it all up that nothing would be able to spawn here. This here is an iron farm that I used mainly for trading with villagers. This is an old model, as you may notice. On the other side of this mine there was access to the collection chests of a guardian farm that I designed, but which unfortunately partly broke in 1.16 because of some changes in the AI of the guardians. That could actually be a really good subject for a future video. I made a brand new design elsewhere in this world once I moved to my main base. But wait! There's more! You can't have a BK base without even more secrets. Again, if you have played Myst, you might have some idea where to find the next secret. Staircases down to the bedrooms of Cirrus and Ekanar had secret passages to a central point below the rock. You just had to know where to click to open them. That's also the case here. Once again, I didn't follow the exact layout of the original game because I wanted to have the secret room face the other direction. You'll see why when we get there. 2 floors down in the staircases, contrary to just one in the original Stoneship age, you can open a secret passage by clicking the bottommost node block on the side of the stairs going up, towards the inside. This will open up the tunnel and at the same time push a block in your head, forcing you to crawl. Clicking the node block again restores everything to the normal position. At the end of the tunnel, both tunnels to be precise, is the secret room. In my version, this became what I like to call the sauna. This was the villager breeder that supplied the villagers for the healing station that I mentioned earlier. Within the first world border, there were no villages at all, so the only way to get villagers at that time was by healing naturally spawned zombie villagers. Fun fact, both villagers that stayed here were the very first villagers in the whole world. To keep the first zombie villager from despawning, I had to name tag him, and I chose the name Farful. The second one didn't need to be named because he picked up a block while he was still in his zombie state. As you can see, they are no longer here, they moved. And you will find out to where in the video about my main base. I absolutely wanted the sauna to have a big window giving a view on the ocean and the bottom of the lighthouse in particular. This is the reason why I changed the orientation of the secret tunnels. Again, it took a lot of planning to have it work out perfectly. I knew what I wanted, but the whole layout is really strict. Everything, including the location of the boat halves and the lighthouse, was put on paper in advance while I checked all coordinates in-game to confirm that everything would fit. Does it look a bit dark down there? Yes, you are right. Guess what the third lever in the crow's nest does. But still there is more. Below the sauna is yet another secret room which holds the things that were most important for me when I started on this world. The spider spawner that by pure chance generated directly under the rock, and 4 farmer villagers giving me the biggest discounts for carrots and beets. the only food items I had access to at that time. The chests are continuously being filled by 2 food farms that are hidden between the secret passages. This is where I got most of my emeralds and XP when I lived here. And that's the general tour of my Stoneship base. I'll fly around in Spectator to give you a closer look at the full layout, something that even I am seeing now for the first time, while I'll tell you about my next videos. The one for my main base will be coming up for sure, but I know that editing it will take up a lot of time. Originally, I would also have posted a redstone video before that about raid farms, but when I was about to do so, both Logical Geek Boy and Ilmango made videos about this same subject as well, and to be honest, I was a bit demotivated and disappointed about the timing. My raid farms are different, and I feel that some aspects of the mechanics had been neglected, so perhaps I should continue doing some more experimenting first and then bring out the video anyway. I have had little time to play lately, so time will be deciding which one of the videos will come out first. Because let's say there is a reason why the video of my main base definitely should come out in the month of October. But for now, BK says bye.